having somebody who can close your books out by maybe the 10th, 12th of the month end close allows you as a business owner to sit back and look at where you really at.
Have you ever had an idea that was so clear it was like a 3D movie? Have you ever told a friend about the idea and they told you, wow, if you could only make that into a business, you would be rich? Sound familiar? Welcome to Knowledge to Currency. I'm your host, Senator Porter, with my co-host, Roosevelt Williams III, and we're here to help you take action. This is free information. We only ask one thing: build a strong foundation and mindset. We have insight to help you get started. Most of us just need a push. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Here's another episode of Knowledge to Currency. It's actual episode 47. I had it mixed up last time. I said 48. I'm your host, Senator Porter, and you are
Roosevelt Williams III.
And this is Knowledge to Currency, where knowledge is power, currency is king. It's a show that we interview entrepreneurs that are trying to do multiple things to make income, because it's hard to make it in San Diego and all over the world. We want to inspire everybody to do that. And today we have Brandon Hawkins here. Well, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you're a CFO of CFO Hub, correct?
I'm actually the chief CRO, so I'm the CRO, Chief Revenue Officer. My firm, where I employ now 60 in the U.S., 4 in London and 4 in the Philippines, team are all CFOs and CPAs.
Right.
But I am fortunate to be basically the leader and the senior cheerleader. And
Nice.
so I get to go out and speak the gospel about the good works and how they do what they do to help clients grow and develop a currency strategy that allows them to exit and have the right exit.
So what type of client do you service, I guess?
Great question. Our typical client, I always tell people jokingly, you can't come to me with a Nike shoebox full of receipts.
Right.
We're just not there. Our typical client is a well-funded startup. So this is a startup that is outside of friends and family round. They're typically in Series A. So they've got $1 to $3 million of burn, and they call upon my firm to make sure that they have the financial infrastructure and strategy to not only manage that $2, $3, $4 million as they grow, but to scale themselves in a way that they're more saleable. And in today's environment, with so many young entrepreneurs with amazing ideas, the infrastructure is missing, and that's something we provide.
So basically, I guess to put it in layman's terms, you try to make it where their company, where they can envision being more scalable so they can grow the business, but also and one day they could walk away and sell it.
That's exactly right. And sometimes for many people, particularly San Diegans and in the small business community, exit strategy isn't part of the game for them. It is providing generational wealth. It is, I'm going to build this business, I'm going to pass it down to my children, and they're going to run it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We would call that a lifestyle business. It's great. And we help those clients as well.
Right.
But for so many companies, particularly in San Diego, when you have SaaS and fintech and bio businesses, it is really about growth, then scaling that growth in a way that you can do this while you're sleeping so that you can exit at the appropriate multiple. And I will tell you, whether it is companies that you would know in town that are trying to grow, or some mom and pops with a great idea and a great vision, the accounting infrastructure that's necessary is the same for mom, pop, church lady as it is for Qualcomm. Okay. And my firm endeavors to educate people around that and make sure that they are compliant in a way that allows them to grow, also get investors. Okay. And so we've been very fortunate. I've been in the game a long time, and I've been very fortunate to get into some rooms where now I can keep the door cracked open and get other people into the room.
Which is awesome. And I like what you said, because a lot of people don't think that their business is on the equal playing field as a Qualcomm or Coca-Cola or whatever, because they're just starting their journey. But Coca-Cola started somewhere. Right. Qualcomm started somewhere. You see where they are today, but that didn't, like Apple started in a garage. So that's beautiful that you're like explaining that to people. So you're from San Diego, right?
Actually from Rhode Island, but my dad, I'm a Navy brat, so my dad over a period of time became a base commander here in town. So this is a super rare opportunity for a black man to be the senior officer. And I was acting up, and mom was like, "You better go live with your daddy." And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. My mom is an amazing human being, but it brought me to San Diego. I discovered more brown people and guacamole, and I love both. And because of that, I decided to stay. It's got the best weather. It's got a great business climate, so I'm really grateful to be here. My little brother, AJ, was born and raised here, and I don't think he has any understanding how lucky he is, the blessings.
Yeah, AJ is a cool brother. Shout out
different.
to AJ.
He's from here, so he's got that blessing on blessing.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have a question. What are some of the most common financial challenges that small and medium-sized businesses face?
That's actually a great question, and I'll tell you, I spent a lot of time in corporate banking with Wells Fargo for about 13 years. I was kind of their lead person in the commercial business space. And what they teach you in banking school, and they teach you this in SBA and other places, and no knock, but they will tell you that most businesses fail in the first 2 years, and most businesses fail because they're undercapitalized. The first part of that's true. The first 2 years are the toughest 2 years. There's a lot going on. Capital for the entrepreneur is their biggest challenge, but it's not the biggest challenge in staying in business. So many of us in business, and I've been victim of this myself, is that we know everything about our business, but we don't know everything about business. And how you account for the money, how you account for your beans as they come in is a differentiating factor. So some of the things that I think that small businesses miss, and I see this every day when I speak with them, is that they're not appropriately accounting for how they make money and how they pay out. Very quick example. A lot of people, when you do your books, you get QuickBooks, you get a spreadsheet, and those both work just fine. Most small businesses operate on a cash basis. If you go to a bank after you start really blowing up and getting a lot of revenue and go to a bank and say, "Hey, I need a small business loan." If you're on a cash basis for your accounting, the automatic answer is no. No lender is going to lend to you. You need to be on an accrual basis. Accrual-based accounting shows not only where you are today, but a projection into the future. And unfortunately, banks and lenders, they don't lend on what you're doing now. They lend on what you've done in the past. Well, imagine for a small business, you just started, so you have no past. So one of the things I tell small business owners right away is, irrespective of how you account, at a minimum, get QuickBooks Online. It's a universally understood, accounting software. And to the extent that you can do it right away, move to accrual-based accounting. And I'll tell you, if you're in QuickBooks, it's just a button. Click the button, it'll do it for you. So that I would say it's not undercapitalization. There's lots of money sources out there, and I'd be more than happy to direct you to some. But it's how you count.
Not as a currency right there. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Because at the team we have, we do use QuickBooks. And what is that term again? Accrual?
Accrual accounting. You need to be on if you want a loan. Now, if you want to run a lifestyle business and, make your money, count your money, spend your money, and do that forever and pass it on to your children, you're fine. This is great. It's a good idea. It's very accurate. How much cash in, cash out, easy. But accounting is the language of finance. It's not marketing. It's not economics. Accounting. To understand accounting, you need to understand accrual-based accounting. That is the sole method that lenders, investors, equity players, venture capitalists, that's what they're looking for. So it's not a hard conversion from cash to accrual, but it's necessary.
Yeah, and a lot of times with small businesses, they're trying to, hold as much money as they can from the government. But just because you're reporting QuickBooks and you're reporting things doesn't mean you have to report the total revenue, but you do have to have a paper trail of, hey, I got X amount of dollars on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the last 6 months. Here's proof of that money. And that's the key of leverage.
I'll tell you, you're exactly right. I think it's more so, and unfortunately prevalent for us, where we've got to really show and prove. But I'll tell you, as somebody who's been a lender, for a couple decades, when you're looking at financial statements and a loan package, you don't know who they are. You don't see what they look like. So you're just looking at the numbers, and the numbers need to be accurate. They need to be complete, and they need to be on an accrual basis if you're trying to max out your opportunity to borrow money. And if you can, you should always use other people's money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that's what you should do.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people are afraid to borrow money, and then they start using their personal credit cards, and then they get in that situation. So let's maybe talk about that. Or do you kind of help them say, okay, let's structure your business better so that you look better to the banks, you look better to a buyer someday? Because like you said, I may want to leave my business to my children, but you know how kids are. They look at the business like, oh, man, this is a hassle, but it's paid for the shoes on their feet. It's got them to the best schools, but they're looking at it like, oh, I don't want to do what daddy does. I want to, I don't know. They want to do something else completely different, which is fine. So then you do have to have, like you said, the exit strategy saying, okay, well, if you don't want it, we're going to sell it and then take the money and you get it in your inheritance or whatever. So that's something you guys do as well?
Yeah, we really like to sit down with our clients. I will tell you, most of our clients are what we call pretty well healed. So they're doing it.
Sure.
But having said that, in my opinion, all business should be family business. When we all operate and we speak to each other like brother and sister, every problem becomes a family problem.
Sure.
And family problems are easy to fix.
Right.
Every problem in a family can get fixed.
Right.
Whether it's money, it's personality, it's interaction. If it's a family problem, it gets fixed. If it's a business problem, then the government gets involved. And they're not your family, and they're definitely not your friend.
True.
And so I really like to sit down with my clients and have a candid conversation about why you're here, so I can understand. Sometimes you just love it. You just love what you do. Like, I love what I do. That's why I'm here. I love it, and it adds value. But sometimes it's more about your exit and providing for your family and creating, especially in our communities, we don't have as much, is generational wealth. Generational wealth requires a plan.
Yeah.
Generational wealth doesn't happen on luck.
Right.
And whether you do it with me or you do it with one of our competitors who, what I affectionately call my founder of our firm, Jack Perkins, great guy, coined this phrase called co-opetition.
Yes, sir. Cooperating against a competition.
It's exactly right. And I will tell you, for our personal company, and we do several $1 million of revenue, I would say between 7 and 9% of my business comes from competitors. People you would say, well, why do you talk to them? They're a competitor. Because they know stuff I don't.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm too busy and I need to send it. Sometimes they don't have the vertical expertise that I have.
Sure.
And if we look at it instead of trying to fight it out and maybe make them lose money for me to make money, when you start looking at how can we help each other make money, it works. And so I'll tell you again, 7 to 9% of our annual revenue is derived from quote unquote competitors.
Yeah, I have
dropping
another
the
question.
gem, though.
Oh,
You
man,
dropping
a
the
jam,
gem right
a
there.
drool box.
So, like you're
Yeah,
saying,
be nice to your competitors. They know stuff you don't.
and they may not have the time to work, and they'll be like, well, I met Brandon. He's always been, nice. He's credible. He knows what he's doing.
You know this because
Sure.
you've been in the lending game. I'll tell you, when I was a banker 100 years ago, I had this thing called Bankers on the Corner. I thought it was because I was lazy,
Yeah.
but really what I would do is I'd meet all the bankers from the commercial banks, the Wells, the B of A, the Unions, the Comerica's. We would literally meet on the street corner at 750 B Street, and we would say things like, what deal you working on?
Right.
I looked at that deal too. I can't do it because leverage is too high. Oh, really? Our leverage requirement is lower than that. Send them my way.
Right.
And over the years, we developed this kind of relationship where we no longer just say no. We say, you know what, I can't do it, but you should call Brandon. He could do it. You should call Tony. He could do it. And the client gets satisfied. They become a client for life. All the people in the ecosystem make their little goals for their job.
Sure.
And you develop really good relationships. And in San Diego, I think, more so than a lot of communities, it's a relationship-driven town.
Sure.
So you just got to do right.
Yeah. They say there was a person that said, I don't want to butcher his name, but basically he says you should do cooperation and not competition, and you'll get more business and have more success.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, I definitely agree with you, gentlemen, because the individuals at the bottom, the catfish individuals, they're competing with each other, but at the top, they're cooperating with each other.
Yeah.
And that's why they continue to get ahead. It's not about just getting ahead; it's about staying ahead. And it takes co-opetition. Kings have kingdoms, but emperors have empires by working together.
That's true.
But I do have another question to ask you. What are the different types of services that a factual CFO can provide?
Sure. Great question. So, our standard offering would be around turnover, meaning my bookkeeper, my controller, my CFO, they just left. They had great resignation. They retired. They got a better opportunity. But the business still has to keep moving. The books have to still get closed. The ship has to keep moving. So you would call us, and we can drop somebody in immediately into your company who understands your software, who has vertical expertise. So if they were a CFO of a clothing shop, I'm not going to send them to you if you're a manufacturer. So we have that level of experience that allows continuity in the business. That's one trigger. The other trigger for us is if you're in the M&A space. And in San Diego, if you're in fintech or SaaS or bio or even a small mom and pop business, most people in town are about growing, scaling, and selling.
Right.
So as you get ready to look at your runway to take off into your future, whatever that looks like for you, you call us because you want to make sure you have the right accounting infrastructure. And it could be, is your software right? Are you accounting things appropriately? Are you closing your books and records at month end? And this is something for every business in any vertical. I don't care if you sell bean pies or you're at Qualcomm. You need a data room.
Okay.
You need to store your important documents in a secure location that's in the cloud, because there's going to be a day where somebody's going to call you and you're going to be at Essence Fest or Jamaica somewhere vacationing and they want to see your P&L. And you don't have time to log into your computer and do it. You need to grant access via your data room. I will tell you, the companies, the PE firms, private equity, the venture capitalists that call me to look at our portfolio of companies, one of the first things they say is, who does the books and can I get a look at them through the data room? Oh, they don't have a data room. They're not interested anymore.
Okay.
And these are companies that might do $500,000 in revenue that somebody wants to buy for $3-4 million, or they could be a $30 million company that somebody wants to buy for $80 million.
Okay.
You have to be able to control your data and know where it is at all times. And it's not difficult.
Man,
you do it with your phone. You icon with your phone.
I hope I take copious notes. He's dropping some jewelry here, especially for the entrepreneurs that have a 100-year plan, that want to have that legacy trust. This is how we have business infrastructure. Knowledge of currency. I do have another question, while we got you here. I know your time is money, right?
I appreciate it.
Okay.
But, this is one of the best things I can do all day besides being a dad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What advice would you give to businesses that are considering using a factual CFO?
Yeah. I would say vet them appropriately. I honestly, I wish that our competitors in the space sucked. Like, I wish they were all horrible. Sure. That would make my life and my sales team's life so much easier. But I'll tell you, they're all real good. They're all really, really good. It's really about getting the right fit, and it's a cultural fit. If you're working with a CFO or a controller, and I'll tell you, most companies truly only need a controller. A strong controller can do everything for you, unless you're trying to go public. But if you're just trying to go up to about 100 million rev, which is a lot of money, you can do it with a strong controller. Having somebody who can close your books out by maybe the 10th, 12th of the month-end close allows you as a business owner to sit back and look at where you're really at. Like, you think you're someplace, and you're blowing up on Instagram, and you got likes, and you're trending, and you're top of your funnel, your sales are big. But it's not about how much you sell. It's about how much you keep at the bottom. And a good controller, somebody who's a good steward of your books, is going to be a critical piece, not only for your day-to-day operations, for your mental sanity, but also for your long-term growth strategy. And again, I love everybody use us, but there's a gang of great folks out there, and I gladly direct you to ones based on your size and your vertical.
Yeah, if I could just interject one time, I'm speaking to young emerging entrepreneurs a lot. So I'm teaching them not to be CEOs, but to be CEOs. And what that means is don't be the chief everything officer. Be the chief executive officer. So we need, that data room. We need people on our team like yourself. So, knowledge of currency, get connected.
Yeah, what I was also going to say is you're helping people understand that not to be in the business, like you'll be able to work on the business and have other people out there that are looking over your shoulder, making sure operations are good, so that they'll say, well, yeah, I want to buy your business, but you have to be a part of it. Otherwise, it ain't going to work.
And I also, I'll tell you, that's something that we struggle with when we work with clients, because, some businesses are just like your child. Like, no one's going to love your business more than you, because you bled, you sweat, you cried, you did everything. You put up the initial money to get your fictitious business name. You did all these things. And then you have everybody with opinions, but they don't necessarily have skin in the game. So it's important as a CEO, because I used to call myself that chief everything officer. Like, I did all the work, all the sales, I took out the trash, I got the coffee, I did all that.
Right.
What you find is delegating is one of the most important things you can do, but that comes with trust.
Right.
And it's just hard as a business owner. Something I talk to business owners all the time. Their best friend isn't the best financial partner. Their best financial partner isn't their best friend.
Right.
So you really have to take some time. I always say go walk on the beach somewhere and really think about your corporate structure. Keep it flat, keep it plain, and make sure you have boundaries and documents so that when things are unclear, we get mad, we have emotions, we refer back to the document to make sure we stay on path. Because the path, the brand, the path is the most important thing.
So obviously, if someone's just kind of getting going, they're not at that level to meet with you. How could they kind of build themselves up to get to the level to work with someone like you?
That's a great question too. There's a couple organizations, and I think they are national in scope. And I will tell you, at least locally here in San Diego and in California as well, SBDC, Small Business Development Corp.
Okay.
They're in almost every city. I love the folks in Chula Vista and
Daniel
National
Fitzgerald.
City. Yeah, 800 National City on the street right there.
Absolutely.
I attend some of their meetings. What's interesting about those types of organizations, another one's Evo Nexus. You should get on
Nexus.
that.
Okay.
Tech Coast Angels is another one.
Okay.
These are Startup San Diego, Startup OC. You know, these are resource pools for people who are in the startup game, and then old heads like me who've done it a few times.
Sure.
And the benefit is, for very little money, you don't have to go to Harvard. You just walk into SEBC and say, hey, I got this business. I don't know what I'm doing. And they will slide in front of you a plethora of like resources. Here, you should call this guy for insurance, or for your banking, or for your accounting.
Okay.
Lever those first before, as much as it's our ethos to do so. Before you talk to your church lady or your mom to do your books,
Right.
there's professional help that's out there for you, and it's free.
That's
and
awesome.
And the difference is, my mama's gonna always tell me I'm right and take care of my books
Sure.
because she loves me. But
Right.
sometimes you need a disinterested third party to say, I heard your story, I heard where you want to go, but I'm looking at your numbers. This is the things that we need to do to get you there. And sometimes that can't be from the lovingly
Family
words
or
of moms
friend.
and fam.
Sure.
Seek professional help, and there's a lot of free, cheap help. Get it.
That's awesome.
Or call me, I'll direct you. I have no problem sharing.
Yes, and we plan to as well.
You got it.
My question, like to say, what are the trends that you are seeing in the fractional CFO industry? What trends are out there?
I'm seeing right now, unless you're in the throes of some M&A, some mergers and acquisition, I'm going to grow my company, I'm going to sell my company, I'm going to merge my company. Most companies, honestly, in spite of the fact that my company's name is CFO Hub, you probably just need a controller. You really don't need a CFO. And the trends that I'm seeing right now are outsourcing everything. So many of us get 4 or 5 of our friends together. Oh, you're good at marketing. Oh, you could talk. You could spit. So you're the sales guy.
What are you looking at me for?
I've actually heard that about you personally.
Right.
So they do that. What I would tell you is there's so much fractional help. There's fractional CMO, chief marketing, fractional IT, fractional accounting. There's fractional sales. Start looking for those folks, because most people in business, they're excellent at the business. They're not excellent at the marketing or the sales or the accounting. You have to embrace your magic,
Right.
your skill in your game,
Right.
and bring in other magicians.
Yeah.
And be comfortable. And this is something I learned from coaching high school football. You got to be comfortable sometimes that I might be the head coach, but my OC is way smarter than me.
Sure.
My way, something I've learned, especially now at 53, my way is absolutely not the only way, and for sure isn't the best way. You got to bring in partners. You just got to be comfortable, but you got to vet them. You got to double check. LinkedIn's great. Having conversations is great.
Or even like with the podcast, as an example, we rent a studio. Mr. Taylor, he handles all the video and all that stuff. My job is to bring great guests like you, have our questions ready, make sure the show's good, make sure everybody's happy. And I'm not like buying equipment and doing all, I didn't want to do all that. So that's well said.
I think that's magical. I mean, if you really truly, we're just in a different generation. I think our parents, like I said, I'm 53. I think my parents and my grandparents, if they had a lemonade stand, they would grow the lemons, squeeze the lemons,
Right.
build the table, build the glass jar, put the sugar in it, and do all that. That's not where we're at today.
Sure.
We've got so much technology. We've got so many outsourced providers, whether it's Fiverr or Upworks, or just local opportunities that you really, if you could be smarter about it and be patient,
Right.
patient with your craft, and just focus on you, the people that you need around you will show up, or they'll be pretty easy to find.
I definitely agree with
Like
that.
that.
Be that attraction. Because if you chase it, you'll be jumping over dollars, chasing pennies, sort of say. But if you work on your craft, sharpen your saw, you'll definitely be that attraction. I definitely had that experience here in San Diego, being an eagle in a chicken coop. You have to really learn yourself. I had executive isolation. I had to get around individuals like yourself and the kid to be able to really spread my wings. I had to get around other eagles because those individuals in your chicken coop might not be the best for you. Sometimes you got to go out there and outsource.
I'll tell you, quite honestly, it comes off of you specifically. I don't know if people can see us, but it comes off of you. That's one of the things like I learned from my time living in Southeast behind St. Rita's. It's in you. It's not on you.
Yes, sir.
And I think you have to be able to bring in the right partners to share, and you also have to be very comfortable. And this is the hard part for a lot of us, especially men in my age and stage. Like we think we know everything, and our way is the best, and you have to really be able to let some of that go and then bring in the right experts. I will tell you one of the things you said. It just struck me. You used the word attraction. So many of us, and I've been this guy for 50 years until recently, I'm just chasing. I'm out here chasing. I'm talking. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to spit. I'm trying to get something. When you stop speaking to people from your compensation plan, when you stop talking to people in a way that you're trying to get them to buy for you because it matches your comp plan, how you get paid, you don't become a seller. Like you said, you become an attractor. So when you start talking to people and asking open-ended questions about their business, tell me about your business. Why'd you do that? What makes you excited about that? What sucks about that? As opposed to asking questions around, if he gives me this answer, I get this commission. If he gives me this answer, I get to sell this product.
Right.
Everything in your life changes, and I will tell you, it sucks that at 53, I just figured it out. I wish I figured it out at 30. I'd be a billionaire. When you start speaking away from your comp plan, you become an attractor. And so I've been very fortunate thus far.
Right.
Recently, where I'm able to walk, and people come up to me and like, hey, can I ask you something?
Right.
And then you give free game, and it becomes unfree because they pay you.
Yeah.
But you have to be open to give to get. Sounds corny, but it works.
I agree with that.
And if I could just share, because I agree with you, living to give. Living to give. Living to give.
Yeah.
You know, what can I offer? Listening to understand instead of speaking to be understood. And just one more cliche. I used to be that lack of 21st century, that Uzi.
Yeah.
And when I started living to give, I became that sniper. I'll be direct, and I saved myself time, energy, and money.
You will save a lot of time, energy, and money. And then what'll happen is you won't have to hide in the bushes and wear a ghillie suit as much. You can just sit at your house because you've done such a good job in being an attractor. People will just seek you out.
Yes, sir.
And I believe this, and I've seen it with y'all. People will call you for stuff that you don't do.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're the plug. You're the resource.
All the time,
and
bro.
I'm telling you, like, I watch people around me when I give free game. Oh, I know you want to work with me. I might be too expensive, or we're just not the right fit. Call this person. Here's their number. Call them. And they're like, why would you ever do that? And I'm like, being a good customer servant is a financial boomerang. I throw it out there. I walk home. It comes back to me twice as much.
Sure.
So many of us, and I've been this guy, I've been the richest check-to-check dude in San Diego for a long time. A long time. You worried about getting your money. It sucks that some of us have to wait till we get the money to start really throwing a boomerang. So I encourage people, man, throw that now. Throw it right now so that in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, you start to receive and attract as opposed to 50 and be some, enlightened, smart guy. We could have been here earlier if we'd have listened to our moms and dads.
Sure.
For real.
That's why it's great to have a mentor to make their long journey your shortcut. Like you were saying. So we definitely on the same
This guy
team.
got to write a book.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting passport stamps.
He's got him going every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I already know.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I'm going to steal that. I'll give you credit the first time. After that's mine.
Yeah, you're going to see it on your
you'll see my LinkedIn and all my blogs.
On your thread post or your Instagram.
Absolutely.
Was going to say if somebody wanted to, first, we always ask any announcements, anything going on business-wise or professional-wise.
I'll tell you today in the business community, capital's tight. There are some lenders out there. If you've got a piece of real estate, you can always get some money. And there's lots of lenders. My younger brother, AJ Witherspoon, is amazing at that. Little plug for me. He owes me some money for that. But like, if you have a piece of real estate, you can get some money. If you are in the startup phase, I as much as I play in the equity and private equity space, I'm a big proponent of debt. Go get debt. Go get a home loan. Go get equity loan. Go get a personal loan. Because it's just, at that point, it's just between you and your bank. And it's not even between you and the bank. It's between you and the payment.
Right.
If you go out and get investors, if you go get venture capital or private equity, now you got somebody on the board. Now there's somebody who doesn't necessarily know your business. They're not up at midnight. They're not shooting jumpers in the gym, as they say, with you.
Right.
But now they're on your board and they're telling you what you do. And then when you do sell, you got to give them a percentage. But if you just had a loan, small business loan, SBA 7A is a great loan to get for startup businesses. You can get them almost anywhere. Then it's just between you and the payment. And so I tell people, if you can do that outside of getting a mentor, who I hope would give you that same information, those are two things that you should really look at, especially in a startup community. Watch the investors and watch the family investors, because your grandma don't know your business and then she's going to tell you every day about your business. Yeah. You're better off going to a bank.
That's a good game. Yeah. That's really good game. All right. And then how could people find you if they're interested in working with you?
Appreciate that. Yeah. And I would tell you, this is for anybody, whether you are a startup business with an idea. I'm not going to meet you at the Denny's and look at your laptop, but you can reach out to me. I'm at B Hawkins at CFO Hub. You can always find us at cfohub.com. You can also go into LinkedIn. I am a huge proponent of LinkedIn. If you're not using LinkedIn to advertise your business, to connect with people who can help you and promote your business, you're missing out. So if you simply went to LinkedIn and typed in "I get things done," my face will show up.
For real?
Yeah, that's another tip. You have this ability; it's free.
Yeah.
Whatever your genre, your lane is in business, and me personally, I love my company, but you never know. I might be somewhere else 2 years from now. Like I'm evolving, but
absolutely.
I do get things done.
Right.
So you have the ability to go into LinkedIn, into your personal profile. You go into settings, and it says /. There's a / button. You click it. And you can type in whatever. I'm cute. I'm smart. I'm brilliant. Black business owner, tall business owner, whatever. A few years ago, I wasn't really confident in my abilities. I wasn't really sure of myself, who I was. But the one thing I did know is I get things done. So I went there and I typed that, and now I own it. And it just works for me. So I've been very fortunate.
And that's
and you all can do that too for free.
The senator, I call myself Senator Porter. Obviously, we got Roosevelt. There's no nickname. It is what it is.
It's the hard worker.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, in the words of Dr. Dre, just chill to the episode. We want to appreciate you for coming on the show and coming from the traffic and getting here. I know that it was a challenge. Any parting words you want to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Today, I learned how to be a gentleman in the streets and a freak in Google Sheets from my man Brandon. And
you should check out my. I think that says that in my Bumble profile. I'm not.
Yeah, that's all yours. But I learned a lot today. I learned a lot today, and I hope you did too. Not as a currency.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You guys do such a great job. It's an honor and privilege. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.